Hi, this is a pre-record, so let's get on with some training together. I'll explain things as we go along, but most of it will be just working together. We start with our heels touching, tongue on the roof of the mouth, settling down. Settling down means engaging the mind into the body sensations. So we start with the feet nice and spongy, soft and spreading on the ground. And we use methods. We use the ball of the foot, the heel, and the outside edge to really help us engage. Not just an idea of being in the feet, but really feeling where we are in the body. We get a nice sense of the feet. We draw up, we open up this area, lifting the upper back, raising the sternum, lightly dropping the chin, raising the back of the neck. Feel all those changes you've made. Maybe some contraction of the muscles to move your body into a different position. And then we let go of those contractions. And what we're looking for is the center of gravity sinking down into the legs, onto the ground. So the stability comes from the frame of the body and the structure of the body, not the holding of the muscles. So we let the idea, another method we use, is to let the muscles fall off the bones. And this gives us a visualization and a sensation in the body of how we change the muscles, particularly from the center down to the knees, the thighs, the buttocks and the lower back, everything melting. Don't just want a downward feeling, we want off the bones, outwards as well. Muscles melting outwards. And if it's a visualization and you can't really feel it, just stay with the intent to talk to the muscles and invite them to let go. We wait until our posture is very loose, or you could say almost unstable. You could say there's some swaying in it because I'm not holding on with my muscles. I'm not rigidly locking myself into posture. I'm just lightly balanced on the ground with an awareness of the head top. Simply resting. And the ongoing quality, the ongoing intent is to keep releasing. Keep releasing, quietly settling down, noticing, are the shoulders tight? Does the lower back feel like it's hanging? Is the solar plexus or diaphragm area, could that be softer? What would the belly feel like if that's softened? Is there any tension in the groin and buttocks? Does my weight feel carried by my frame and my feet? Does my chest feel expanding? Does my back feel round out and expanding? Does my face feel quiet and soft? Just come to a place where you can answer those questions by feeling your body. Then we'll open to parallel. And we'll begin moving. Maintain the same quality of listening to your body. Fold the hips and the knees. Use the legs to come up. Feel the stretch in the body without stopping at the top. Release back to the standing posture. Until everything finishes. Finish means the outer movement finishes, the movement itself finishes, and inside the body, the quality of letting go also finishes. And then fold. And when we fold, It's simply the hips and the knees. The only four joints that are changing are the knees and the hips. The back is staying straight, but because the hips are changing, it's leaning forwards. Use the legs, the fingertips are scooping through the air. The hands are going right above the head, so we can use the sinking. Draw the mind down through the body. Settle into the feet until everything's finished. No residual holding. Hold. See how quickly an exercise like this brings you right into your body-mind quality of being with your body. The directions we give mean you really have to pay attention to where you're holding on, to how you're moving. So we start to develop our proprioceptors, which means we're much more aware of where we are in space, where our joints are in space, where the quality of our body is, how we're holding. And key to this exercise is that as we return to standing, we make sure we've still got that looseness in our posture. Even though our feet are parallel, we've still got that feeling. If a strong wind would blow, it would sway us. We're not locked onto the ground by our muscles. We're not locked into a rigid position. We're really loose and allowing the frame to hold us, not the muscles. So as we come to the end of the posture, or which is also the beginning of the next posture, we complete and we find that quality, upright, released, simply listening to the body. It's very easy to rush and bypass the last 5%, which is the main letting go. Right at the end, it's very easy to think, I'm in a standing posture, I'll move on. Try and wait. That last little bit. That last little bit, so important. And there are a few other things we can do with this exercise. We can make sure that the weight stays in the center of the feet the whole time. As we fold, we're not falling forwards to the front of the feet. The weight stays in the center of the feet. As we push up, the weight stays in the center of the feet. Right to the top, center of the feet right the way down. Center of the feet means the ball, the heel, and the outside edge equally balanced. With this exercise, we can add the next part to it, which is folding the hips and turning. When I do this, my stability is coming onto this leg. My opposite hand comes round to the outside of the thigh, and I do exactly the same, but now I'm facing 1 o'clock on my right leg. So I fold, the hand goes down the thigh. When I get to the bottom, I square, and then I come up exactly the same. And then I do a normal, down, and up, and release, sinking the mind through the body. When I complete and I'm in a standing posture, I'm going to turn to this side. So my hips turn, my waist stays level, My stability sinking into the left leg. My right hand comes across to the thigh. And then I fold, keeping the weight in the center of the feet. When I get as low as I feel comfortable, I turn back and I come up. Tackle. Turn to the left, to the right. Make sure the turning comes from what you do with the legs, not your upper body. We don't want to push our upper body across. We want to use the legs to turn the hips. A small push of the left leg turns the hips. A small sinking in the right stabilizes us. So it's like I'm pouring my weight from one leg to the other. And I feel nice and stable in my leg. Turn, fold. Same Tai Chi, the classics tell us, all the movement comes from borrowing force from the ground. We want to make sure that when we move, it comes from the feet, through to the center of gravity, through to the upper body. We're going to turn the opposite way. Once we've settled, we're going to use this leg to turn and this leg to sink. You can't just push across. You'll tighten into this leg. You have to sink and push at the same time. Now it is very gentle. It's not if you do too much, you'll tighten, your balance will tighten. We need to be sinking and pushing. And that will give us a very smooth movement that is becoming stable and doesn't distort our alignment. We do this type of movement all the time in Tai Chi, all the time. We remain upright, we keep the hips level, we sink as we move towards a foot, and the opposite foot pushes us close. Fold. Take the mind down through the body. Coming up, the hands lift, release, exactly the same in the body. The base sinks, chest softens, shoulders relax, the hands follow. Again, exactly the same at the end, standing, loose posture, everything complete. Okay? No stopping. Soon as you've finished the movement and the release, the legs, the knees open. Soon as you reach the top, the knees release, the thighs soften, relax, the muscles fall off the bones. And as you're sinking, don't carry your weight in your muscles. Let your weight sink down through the bones into the ground, falling away from the crown of the head. And this is a whole different thing we do in Tai Chi. When we let go, when we soften, when we sink, we're not really lowering the body downwards, because when we lower, we're still carrying our weight in our muscles. They're just in a different position, still holding on. We want to let go in such a way that the muscle tension softens and the weight of the body itself, or gravity, presses the weight of the body into the structure of the legs that can support us. there's the explanation. We have to find out how to do that in the exercises. The exercises are the training ground to learn how to do that process smoothly. So in this exercise, we're listening for how we let go, not how we lower ourselves. We're not looking for the movement of moving from position A to position B, which is an inch lower. We're looking for the release that allows the body to drop into a different condition, which is pressed lightly onto the ground, so we're loose, upright, and the frame of the body supporting us, not the muscles. Keep your focus, your awareness very strongly on the body sensations, especially the thighs, from the center to the knee, especially what has to change to make the holding in the muscles, because when I'm lifting up, my muscles are working against the ground, to the release that puts my body back into the structure that supports it. What's the change I need to make in the body to do that? Clues. The clues are the weight stays in the center of the feet. Sinking is away from the crown of the head. And there's an opening or release of this band of muscle around here. So the lower back and the curve in the back can drop slowly over the time you're sinking. That means that the pelvis is lightly rotating. We're not pushing the tail under. We're not using the words tuck the tail, because that's actively using muscles. We are releasing the muscles which allow the pelvis, like a boat in water, to find its own level. The words we use really important, because if we use the words tuck the tail, and I've seen that written in many, many Taiji books and heard it from teachers as well, tuck the tail, actively people will do something. And this movement maintains the tension in the body. It puts the body into a new position, it puts the body into the correct position, but the muscles are tight. And as you know in Tai Chi, the inside is what we're trying to get towards. We're trying to make the inner workings of the body in harmony with the movements of the external. We're not just trying to make shapes out of the body that are correct. We're trying to have the quality on the inside and the outside, a relationship between the two. So at first, the movements come from getting the external movements in the right position. The posture's accurate. And then over time, we start to feel more and more how the change of muscles combine with the external movements to generate the external movements. Next exercise, we'll go through the loosening exercises. First one, starting posture. I want to be really clear that your starting posture is this. It's not this, and it's not this. It's all the joints feel open and wide, but it's not to the side, because if you go to the side, you're going to tighten up the shoulder blades and lift the shoulders. It's more to the front, 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. And the back of the wrists, about the height of the armpit, rather than the shoulders, about the height of the armpit. The movement of the arm to this position mustn't lift the shoulder. The shoulder softens and opens out. It doesn't lift. This movement isn't necessary to lift the arm to this position. Soften the shoulder downwards to open up the arms. Let the weight of the arm go as the arm opens out. The starting posture, parallel feet, shoulder width. The arms set. Next, turn the hips to the same direction your arm was facing. When my arm was facing this direction, turn my hips towards it and move across. Now I'm facing that direction. As you move, same thing applies as the previous exercise. We're releasing the muscles in the leg to receive the stability of the body in the frame, not holding on with the muscles. So there's a sinking quality when we move. We go down an inch, we let go. And what we're trying to do is trying to be stable, upright, balanced, lightly balanced, and inside released. Then we activate this leg and we turn the hips square. And we're back at the beginning posture. Same time the hips arrive, the hands arrive. And without stopping, we do exactly the same to the opposite side. Wherever you notice tension, let's say tension, muscle tension, or wherever you notice misalignment, or whenever you notice quality of trying too hard, maybe a mental tightness in the concentration, bring your focus back to the body sensations. Let yourself be simple and enjoy the quiet changes of letting go. Don't worry about getting it right, because the inner critic's going to make everything terrible. Okay, your inner critic will completely take over if you allow it. So what we want to do is find a way, just going underneath the thinking mind, just going underneath the chatter of the busy mind, the monkey mind that disturbs us, that keeps us thinking, that keeps us separate from our bodies. Settle into the body sensation. Use the exercise as a way for 5 minutes to be with yourself in a different or a longer, stretched out period of time where you're really listening to yourself, and give yourself that opportunity. There's no hurry. The modern world disappears. The screens, the calls, the busyness, the people all disappear. We just simply go into the somatic feel of the body as a simple unit, moving from side to side smoothly. We call it Taiji, but that's just to give us a model to work with. What we're really doing is investigating ourselves and being with ourselves. Really, it's a deep meditation, settling into ourselves, coming to a place where we make friends with ourselves, our mind and our body, not separate, but come together with the same purpose. And we may find it gives us great peace, or we may find we just get glimpses of it. We may find some practices we can't get there at all. Keep at it. Every time you practice, every minute you practice, you're building a reservoir of quietness within you, the ability to be quiet with yourself. That reservoir is priceless. It's natural and it's available. Sometimes we just have to work at it to recognize what it is and settle into it. It doesn't come from knowing hundreds of moves. It doesn't come from knowing all the forms. Much more simple than that. And it's the essence of Taiji. Then we change to the second exercise, and of course we're doing exactly the same things in the second exercise, but the movements are slightly different, so what we feel is different. Same starting point. 4 swings of the arms, and in that time we've got a steady, slow release of the muscles, alignment of the lower back, falling away from the crown of the head, finding the support in the frame on the way down. Not lowering ourselves, not dropping, bending the knees and dropping to a different held position, but allowing ourselves to settle. Over 4 swings of the arms. Third, fourth swing, I'm at the bottom. I'm coming up, slowly opening the knees. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm at the top. Release. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Settled. Coming up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If your mind wanders, really normal, my mind wanders, if your mind wanders, use the exercise, bring it back onto the body sensations, bring it back onto the intention of what you're trying to do. In Tai Chi, don't just go up and down. Don't just do the moves. Have a strong intent and purpose for what you're trying to do within each exercise. Learn what that is for you, because that changes at different times in your practice with your different ability. What you focus on needs to change, but work out for yourself what's important to work on. If you don't know, you can ask. That's what teacher is for. to help you focus your mind and body so you can practice well, get the most from it. If your mind wanders, back to sensations in the body. Remember the time we're spending by bringing the mind and body together. We're building a reservoir of connection and understanding that is stable and strong. So in your own time, this exercise, in your own time, about this sort of speed, but you may not be in tune with my time of going up and down. Blues. Weight stays in the center of the feet throughout the whole movement. Body stays upright throughout the whole movement, no swaying back and forth. Movement is very smooth and steady. There's no stopping at the bottom or stopping at the top. As soon as you reach the top, you're falling. As soon as you reach the bottom, you're expanding. And all the joints of the body, especially the lower back, is changing the whole time you're sinking. Clues to look for. Third loosening exercise. If you need to shake out the ankles, if you need to, if you need to have a stretch in the middle, if you need to, do any of these type of movements to free yourself up, if you need to loosen up your body in any way, this is your practice. You can stop the video anytime. You can do a couple of moves of the form, come back to it. You can lie on the floor and do yoga, come back to it. It's really your practice time. So what I can offer is explanations and encouragement. You develop your own skill, if you like, at how you center yourself. Third exercise, feet parallel. Now the core of the body is just simply going to turn. Doesn't have to turn too much. I'm not going to shift across. I'm going to stabilize in one leg, turn towards it, and the arm lifts. My hips are now facing this way. Turn my hips square. Draw this arm in by sinking the shoulder. And as I sink onto the opposite leg and turn this way, the opposite arm comes out. Where does it come out to? It comes onto the center line with the wrist again at the base of the armpit or base of the throat. Head stays to the front. The stability is changing from the left to the right, constantly shifting across, and with it, there's a turn of the waist. So you may find there's an awful lot going on in this exercise. It's enough just to break it down. What's the hips and legs doing? So you say, okay, I'm just going to make it smaller and just work on the legs and the hips. See if I can get that quality of sinking. See if I can get that smooth quality of turning. You look at my knees, they're not wobbling. They're staying in the same place. The movement or the change is in the hip joints, not around the ankles and the feet. The feet are staying very stable. The weight in the same part of the feet. movement is coming from the base, not from the upper arms. Then when I'm ready, and I feel like I've got a nice transfer of stability, a nice smooth movement in the waist and the hips, I might just add in an arm. And I might just feel it again sinking, add in an arm. And then try and add in the other arm. And all the time really get a feel of how this hip coming backwards, this hip going forwards, that shoulder going forwards is all connected as one movement through the body. So it's not independent movements of the arm. It comes from the sinking below, the turning of the waist, the movement of the shoulder, the movement of the arm, all one flow through the body. We have to link the body up. Otherwise, our habit becomes we just end up doing it with the arms. And the arms aren't listening to the rest of the body, they're independent. And the classics tell us again and again, the movement is not independent with the arms. It comes from the ground to the center of gravity, through to the upper body, and through to the arm. And that pathway of sinking, of turning, of lifting the arm, dropping the shoulder, lifting the arm, happens all at the same time. So the whole body is connected in a wave of movement, not just independent movement of the arm or turning and lifting. Because we do one thing, the other thing happens. I'm going to say that again because it's really important in Tai Chi. Because we do one thing, it sets up the stability for the hips to let go and settle. That sets up the freedom of the movement of the hips for the shoulders to join in. That sets up the movement of the arm to let go and the wrist to float. Can you see how it's all connected? But something in us has to get out of the way. Our busyness to do things, I'm going to say impatience. Impatience is a bit of a negative word, but I'm going to say impatience because it's the opposite of patience. We don't have the patience to listen. We don't have the patience to take time to notice how we move and what we do. And these exercises drop us into a place and give us the clues to help us. And the model or the model of Tai Chi gives us the foundation to start to really understand how we're changing in our bodies, how we are with ourselves. And just around the corner, is the inner critic waiting to say, these exercises are too soft, you're not doing it right, nothing's coming from it. Underneath that, we go underneath that, we start, just stay with the feeling, stay with the sensations. We start to build a reservoir. And you know the great thing? Great thing is, it really doesn't matter if we get it wrong, because we're spending time with ourselves, and when it goes wrong, we notice it. And that noticing is us coming awake, right? It's not perfect, doesn't matter. but our awareness is telling us, my alignment's wrong. We're starting to notice our alignment. Our awareness is telling, I'll move my arm independently. What a silly. That attitude keeps us small. Fantastic. I noticed that my arm didn't move with my body. So what can I do about it? How can I hold back my movement in my arm and really feel where it comes from the hip? Really feel that movement come through the body and take my time to really notice how it can all be connected. So I transform this negative, thing we learned probably in school about not getting things right, and we transform it into an inquiry. So my practice becomes something really exciting. And it's like I can really laugh at myself. So many years of doing Tai Chi, and here I am still doing it with my arms. So I go to throw somebody or push somebody in push hands. Here I am still shoving. And it's like, actually, it's quite funny because I know the answer. The answer is to slow down, listen, be with the sensations of the body. Everything then comes from that. Everything comes from joining my mind and my body together. So let's go through some form together. Just need to keep an eye on my clock. Heels touching. Band of muscle melting, settling into the feet. And the longer you do these movements, the quicker you can find the connection. You'd be surprised you don't need to go through the shopping list of, are my feet settled? Is my sternum raised? Is my chin dropped? It simply becomes a natural. You notice when you're slumped, you notice when you're tight, and you just simply return. And it's not because you're doing Tai Chi, it's because the reservoir of memory. That's how I want to stand. And your body just naturally finds it. We take the stability to both feet. We transfer the stability to the right leg, so the left is free to move. We transfer the stability to the left leg and turn. We turn back. Hands open, the foot comes in and we settle. And we reorganize. We open the knees and we look for the stability on both legs. And we wait until everything finishes, the movements and the inside releasing. Can you move? Turn. You look for the stability on the back leg. And we turn around it, holding the ball. We sink into the center, facing 3 o'clock. We position our body upright as we move in, and we move through onto the right leg. We turn and step, glide in, position the hips and the back foot, sink into the posture. Move forward onto the front leg, turn to the corner, step right, 3 o'clock, glide in, square to 3 o'clock, and sink into the posture. Turn the hips to 4 o'clock, turn back. Stabilize on the back leg, sitting back, dropping the left hand palm up in front of the belly. Turn. Turn back. Once you're facing 3 o'clock, you're still on the back leg, now sink into the center of both legs. Wrist touch. Facing 3 o'clock, press. Find the stability on the back leg as you sit back. Sink 50-50. Push. Find the stability on the left leg as you sit back. Drop the hands. Turn. Find the stability on the right leg. Turn clockwise, dropping the left hand underneath, holding the hook with the right hand. Turn to 12 o'clock. Slide in the left toes, step out of the heel. Single whip. Single whip's always a good place to readjust because the temptation or the possibility is that your step might be not quite shoulder width, too long, too short, too narrow. Readjust your base. Readjust where your hips are going. Readjust your posture. Single whip is always, because we do single whip in the form 4 or 5 times, it's always a good place to change. You can do it in any posture, but single whip is good. Forward onto the front foot, the left. Look for the stability, turn. Scooping with the fingers, pushing out the right heel. Lift hands. Drop the hands. When the hands are low, turn, sliding through the left. Turn back. Step to the corner. Sink in. Shoulder stroke. Turn. Move onto the right foot. Stable in the right. Turn back to face 9 o'clock. White crane spreads wings. What are we looking for here? One span from the brow to the thumb, and it's forward, it's not in line. Notice how your shoulder tightens if your hand's in line with your ear, it's forward. This hand, thumb on the thigh, same as our standing posture. All the weight is on the right. Stability on the right. If you swing the left through, it misses. It's not in front here. It's not out to the side. It just misses the heel. And the ball of the left foot just lightly touching. Leg feels like it's just relaxed wherever the ball touches. White crane spreads wing. Head top raised. Weight sinking and stabilized in the right. From lifting hands, have a look at the detail. Lifting hands. Lifting hands, the hands are facing 12 o'clock. The body is slightly facing, say about 11. So you're not square with the hips to 12. You're slightly at an angle. Drop the hands. I'll go back to see my feet. Drop the hands. When the hands are low, turn the hips. The foot comes in. Drop the hands. When the hands are low, turn the foot in. At the same time as turning the waist, the left hand slides through the hip joint. Drop the hands, turn the foot, slides through the hip joint and lifts palm down. This is the same posture as the beginning of the loosening exercises. Your hand raises to the same position as the loosening exercise. It doesn't go behind you. It isn't palm up. It's exactly the same position. For some reason, people raise their hand this way, and it's really common, but it slides through, and it's as you turn, it slides through the inguinal crease and lifts palm down. As you turn back, it folds. Now we do this movement a lot in Tai Chi, and we've done it before here. Drop the hand to the inguinal crease, turn open, turn back, sink in and press. And here, from lifting hands, if I do it facing this way, drop the hands, turn open and lift, turn back, draw the right toes in as you turn back, fold the arm and draw the right toes in. Step to the corner, shoulder stroke. Notice how my arm's now dropping in. Shoulder stroke. Small turn in the center. Then move on to the right foot, stable in the right. You're going to turn back to 9 o'clock. Wipe down with your left arm. Draw your right arm through. Bring the toes in with the turning hips. And finally sink, pushing the ball of the foot forwards, facing 9 o'clock. Now, just as we did before with the third loosening exercise, we simplified it by just looking at what the hips are doing without moving the arms and occasionally bringing the arm in. You can do exactly the same with each posture. So what would that look like is lifting hands, you know the posture. First part, drop the hands. Drop the hands. But because it's Taiji and it's not just the arms, of course, it's the whole body sinking onto the foot. So it's exactly the same feeling as this movement, but on one leg. There's not so much of a going down, but a letting go inside, so your stability is there. Then you can turn and break it down. So once you've dropped your arms, first part of the turn, bring the toes in. See if you can get that coordination. Turn the hips, bring the toes in at the same time. So the feet are parallel. And the foot only moves while the hips are turning. And get that logged into your muscle memory. Then, occasionally, while you're turning, bring the hand in. Drop the arms, turn the foot in, draw the arm through. Now it's moving independently. Drop the arms, turn the waist, foot comes in and the hand moves together. And you see you slowly build up an understanding so it doesn't become, oh, there's too much to do, too many different things happening. It is only one body. It is only one mind and one body together. When we think of separate bits, there's an awful lot going on. But if we can feel how it's connected, there's one thing happening. Drop the arms and turn. Turn back and fold. See if you can get that turning, all the weights on the left, to coincide with the folding of the elbow. And it's like the hand just glides at the same height. It doesn't really come in this way. It just kind of comes back with the turning of the waist. And then occasionally you can bring the foot in at the same time. So as the hips turn, the right ball of the foot comes in. I'm exaggerating the move. This movement mustn't make me tight or destabilize me. So it's all about this pivot on the left leg. Drop the hands, turn back. Step to the corner, move in, feel the base going in. We've done this move before many times while we move from the back leg into the center. This arm drops. It's not the arm dropping, It's the whole body sinking. And the arm joins in, shoulder stroke. And you can break that down. Base goes in. Am I nice and stable in the center? Base goes in. All the weight in the back leg. Base goes in. Arm settles. Arm settles. I'm of course looking for the right position. This one fist from the groin. This one chest. Both hands on the center line. I'm looking for that position. But at the same time, I'm looking for the quality. And I'm looking to unite the movements so they happen together. And I'm breaking it down. You know, I could do 5 minutes on one move. But when I come to learn a new move, to really lock it into my muscle memory, drop the hands one part, turn second part, turn back. I think I'm tightening my leg. Let's see if I can do it without tightening. Pay particular attention to the leg. Release. Yeah, now I feel more stable. Step. Sink hand, release the upper body too. Everything arrives in the center. Shoulder stroke. There's a turning in the middle. In shoulder stroke, the body turns. It doesn't go forwards or backwards. It just stays in the middle and turns. And it's very much like when we turn in ward-off right. We stay in the middle and turn. And we don't turn from the upper body. We turn from the hips. And you may find you break that down. Just turn the hips. What has to happen to allow there to be fluidity and movement? Because if the muscles are holding, it's going to jam everything up. How can the joints be so loose that they can turn and be fluid and maintain the stability? Shoulder stroke. Then you walk forwards onto the front leg. And as we know, every time we move forwards onto a leg, we look for stability until the back heel comes off the ground. And I make sure just by picking up the foot, it's not in the form to pick up the foot, but it's just to make sure that I've got no stability coming from my left ball of my foot. The next movement is a turn. The hips are going to turn to 9 o'clock. I have to make sure that my knee, my foot's facing that way. I have to make sure that my knee isn't doing this. This opening of the hip and turning exactly the same as the loosening exercises. So this movement here onto one leg and turning so the knee doesn't come in with the turning of the hips. From shoulder stroke, exactly the same. Stability. Release to create stability. Release to create freedom of movement. We can break it down. With the turning, once you've got the stability, the left arm drops as you turn, the right arm pulls through. The right arm was one fist in front of the groin on the center line, and it just simply lifts. It's like I've got a cloth in my hand. I haven't got a cloth here, I'm just looking for a cloth. And I'm wiping the inside of a great big ball. Okay, so one of these balls, maybe even bigger than this. I'm just wiping with the cloth the inside of a big ball. until I arrive in this position. So it's coming from here in one scoop upwards. That movement of the arm coincides with the turning of the hips. Finishing in a position that's sunk and stable, not lifted up and raised. Okay, so something to practice. We'll go through the whole of the form to there. Before we do, in your mind, just look for one or two takeaways that you found interesting in this lesson. One or two things that, I could bring that into my practice. I could bring that into that form posture. And then we'll go through the form and just see if you can find it. Ward off left. Ward off right. 3 o'clock. All the way to the left. Sink forwards, 50-50 press. Sit back all the way to the left. Move forward, 50-50 weight. Push. Sit back all the way to the left. Single whip. The weight to the right. All the way to the right. 50-50 weight. Facing 9 o'clock. Single whip. Lifting hands. Shoulder stroke. Move on to the right foot 100%. Turn to 9 o'clock. White crane. Spreads wings. And for those who've done the next couple of moves, the hands come parallel. One turn, half of the turn, drop the hand to the inguinal area. Second half of the turn, lift the arm. Turn back, fold the arms and step left as one movement. 50-50 posture, square and expand. Brush left knee twister. Facing 9 o'clock. White crane spreads wings, sink, hands level. Turn, drop the little finger edge to the inside of the inguinal region. Continue turning, both hands parallel behind. Turn back and fold the arms with the waist. Step left, just with the heel. Glide in as you arrive in the center, the foot's pushed onto the ground. Square and expand the back knee to issue. Drop onto the front leg. Hands by the side. Slide in the foot and pick up the knee. Pick up the heel. Put the foot behind. Sink onto the back leg as you lift back the hands and sit back. Draw in the ball of the left. Sink. Push out the heel. Play guitar. Fingers of the right looking at the left elbow. Fingers of the left on the center line. Not too close to the body. Nice round in the arms and the elbows. Brush left knee twist step. Again, the second one. Just to that. So a little bit of a longer class, but that's for both groups, the beginners and for the intermediates. I think there's enough in there for the intermediates to refine as well. So thanks very much for the recording, pre-recorded class, and I'll be with you again next week. Thank you.